Ahoy there, mateys. It be Captain Jack Sparrow, and we're back on the 2024 Pittsburgh Pirates ship, looking to win a division championship. Long-term goal, we're looking to win a championship with a bottom 5 payroll. That is the theme of this video. So if you're interested in how to play small ball and out-of-the-park baseball, or just want to follow along with an out-of-the-park baseball franchise on YouTube here, check this series out, because that is what we'll be doing for the time being. We're going to try and double down with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and we have a small window to win with a small payroll because O'Neal Cruz and Key Brian Hayes are going to need big contracts really quickly. I started this series actually doing a live stream in Twitch on the day that the game came out, and then I posted half of that as episode 1, but part of what I did in the live stream, which I did not cover in episode 1, was some organizational overview of what's going on. I spent a lot of time mainly just looking at who I had in my roster as far as like depth, and then also hiring a bunch of staff guys. So if you are a new timer to Out of the Park Baseball series, I would say the first thing you're always going to want to do is go over to your front office in your personnel and basically fire everybody. I don't really know any organizations that have great full structure all the way around, but you're going to want to get the best guy for every position. This stuff matters so much. And the number one thing in my experience playing this game, I'm a newcomer to Out of the Park Baseball 25 and 24, but I played a lot of the games in the teens. I had a 30-year franchise run with the Seattle Mariners, and the single greatest thing that I did in that franchise, which kind of like broke open my ability to properly manage my team, was you got to get a really good scouting director, because if you have incorrect information on your players, it's going to be really hard to field a winning roster, because you can have scouts that just don't line up with what regular guys' attributes are. And that's a big thing coming from a series not like Out of the Park Baseball. I'm not 100% sure how Winning 11 or any of those, I feel like Football Manager, I'm not 100% sure. I don't watch soccer, so I apologize if I butchered all those soccer team manager ones. But as far as this game, and then I also play Eastside Hockey Manager and Franchise Hockey Manager, those games compared to what you'd normally see in like a PlayStation 5, Xbox, whatever series they're on, I can't even follow up with their releases anymore, is the attributes for those games are extremely black and white, and in this game they're incredibly gray. If I go to my team right here and I'll click on Mitch Keller, my top guy, these are his pitching attributes based on my scouting report. You can see my scouting accuracy is low. That means that my information on him is not very accurate. If you compare that to the OSA ratings, which is kind of like the league consensus, you can see they differ a little bit. He has some more growth room over there, but it's not drastically different. The more that my head scout gets towards excellent, the more you'll notice that this rating differs from the OSA rating, because you have more specific information on your guys. And if you have a bad scout, typically that information's not going to be correct. He can be wildly off, and it's hard to understand why you're failing until you realize that all the information you have on all your players is basically a lie. So that would be the number one thing I would invest in. And then a big thing that Out of the Park Baseball 25 introduced in this series, which we'll probably explore a lot in this series, is the development I forget what it's called. It's like the development workshop or something, but you can do really specific development focuses on your players. Then you even have like an off season. Let's see if I can go find what it's called here, because I don't want to be incorrect with the information I am giving you. The development lab. So in the off season, you can really hyper fixate on some of your guys to really groom your prospects to be the best that they could possibly be. So I'm going to experiment a lot with that in this series, and hopefully I'll be able to shed some light on that for some new timers. I'll be learning about it the same way as you guys. So if you have any specific questions about the development lab or anything like that, or just out of the park baseball in general, leave a comment and I'll try and answer it. Again, I wouldn't consider myself an expert in the series at all, but I would, I did run in the teens. I ran a 30-year franchise, so I would at least consider myself above average, and I'm trying to get reintroduced to the series here. So I picked up 24 when the season ended, along with Franchise Hockey Manager. I'm going to drop a Franchise Hockey Manager series after this or during this. Conversely, if you have any feedback on who you'd like to see in that, let me know. But I'm leaning to the Nashville Predators or the Seattle Kraken right now. I want to do a team that doesn't have a Stanley Cup victory so I can get them there first. But let's go back to our Pittsburgh Pirates. Let's focus deep on this. And I wanted to really quickly run through my roster and sort of explain my short and long-term objectives here. On the short term, if you look at my team, what I like to do is I like to be at least 3 deep in every position, as far as like guys who can play at the pro level. And then I like to have at least one long-term guy for every position. So if we go over to our organization roster, and I'll sort kind of like by position here. So catcher, Henry Davis is a former first-round pick. He's likely going to be our guy for long-term catcher, but we also have, he's currently on the IL right now, Endy Rodriguez. If you go look at him over here, he's equally as good of a prospect. They both have their pluses and minuses, but pretty similar. The one benefit I'll give Endy over Henry Davis is that he is a switch hitter, which I like a lot. But Endy could also play first and left if he develops properly. So we'll keep that in mind. But looking at the long-term play, I think we're locked in at catcher with Henry Davis. And then we also have, we signed, I guess the Pirates signed in real life Yasmani Grandal to sort of fill the void there while Endy Rodriguez is injured. So we're going to split time between them in year 1 until Henry Davis becomes a regular everyday type catcher. And in the minor leagues, we have Jason DeLay, who could also fill in a little bit. And if we go to our AA team, Carter Binns is another guy we could take a look at. He's going to be a fringy guy. I don't know if he'll be able to make it to the pro level, but he's a guy that could make it to the pro level. And one thing I'll say with out of the park baseball is you'll get some guys like that who you're not expecting to be everyday MLB players. With my Mariners franchise I had several guys who I didn't expect to ever be major league players who spent 10 years on my team. So it's doable. Just you want to monitor your guys pretty regularly and pay attention to the guys that you think are even fringe players and monitor how they're doing in the minor leagues. And the biggest factor for me has always been when a guy gets called up to the majors, if he plays well, I keep him there. And if he doesn't play well, I send him down. Attributes and ratings and stuff mean a decent amount, but nothing will ever trump in-game performance. So if a guy's doing good and he's a 1.5 star, just keep him in until he starts sucking, because he might be actually way better performer than your scout knows, and performance is always going to trump everything else in this game. At first base, I'm not really thrilled with our organizational depth here, and this will probably be a big focus for us, is to get a long-term first baseman here. But Connor Joe and Rowdy Tellez are both guys that can fill in there for now. If you look down here, I think Connor Joe is I thought he was going to play right field a little bit, but he plays first base in our against left-hander lineup, and I think he's our DH. Oh no, Andrew McCutcheon's our DH in both. But he's a guy who he performed decent last season. If you look at his stat line, 247 with 11 home runs in about 2/3 of a season worth of at-bats. So not a terrible stat line there. He'll get some reps for us. Rowdy Tellez, Jake Lamb. In our minor leagues, we have a couple guys. I think if I go back down to Altoona, Malcolm Nunez, I think, is our most promising prospect for developing. If you look at his stats there, or I guess his ratings, I got a ratings, attributes, and stats. I'm going to misspeak on those things all the time, so I apologize if I get confusing with that, but just bear with me and hopefully you know what I'm talking about. And then if I go back, second base is one that we have Nick Gonzalez right now, and we have a couple other guys. Ji-Hwan Bae can play both middle infield positions and center field. He's in AAA right now. Alika Williams and Luis Piguero are also middle infield guys who I think could play at the pro level right now. But Nick Gonzalez was our hot hand last season, even though his batting average wasn't great. He did okay in the time he was called up. If you look at that, 115 at bats, 2 home runs. He's a work in progress, and he did very well at the AAA level, as you can see there in his stat line. So he's a guy that I believe in right now. But long term, our answer at second base is definitely going to be Tamar Johnson. I'm expecting him to develop very well. He's a very disciplined hitter. He can do all sorts of things. He's going to be more contact than but he does have some decent power. I'm hoping, like best case scenario, he's an Ozzie Albies type second baseman. So we're definitely riding him into the future. Going back to the rest of our organization. At shortstop and third base, luckily we have great options here. Ke'Bryan Hayes, he's coming off of a Gold Glove season, and he is going to be our everyday third baseman for hopefully a long time. And our shortstop is O'Neal Cruz, who spent most of his pro career injured, but we're hoping that he has a great year. And he had a very good first game for us, getting us set with a home run, and he had some good contact across the board. So those are like the centerpiece of my organization offensively right now. I'm not too worried about replacing either of them anytime soon. In the offseason, the Pirates signed Brian Reynolds to a nice long contract. It's the biggest contract in Pirates history, and we're going to honor that. Brian Reynolds is sort of like the lifeblood captain of our team here, and hopefully he will pan out as this game goes on. But he is a switch hitter, which is great. He's a plus outfielder. He's a plus hitter in contact, plus hitter in power, plus speed. So he's not a great player, but he's a very good player, and he's kind of going to be our new Andrew McCutchen. If you guys follow the Pirates, Andrew McCutchen has been the cornerstone of the franchise for at least 10 years, if not much longer than that, and we're hoping to turn Brian Reynolds into that type of player for us. McCutchen is also our designated hitter, so we don't really need to worry about left field. At center field right now, we have Jack Sawinski, who I like long-term. My big knock against him is he's a terrible contact guy, but great power. He's, of all the players on our team, he's the most true 3 outcomes guy. Hopefully he'll get a lot of walks. Hopefully he'll get a lot of home runs. I'm just not expecting a very high batting average. As you can see, he's a plus outfielder in all 3 outfield positions. I'd like to get him some reps in left field, but considering Brian Reynolds is a better left fielder than him right now, we'll see how that goes. At right field in the offseason, the Pirates acquired Edward Olivares from Kansas City, and he, I think, is a stopgap for that. I don't really have a long-term solution for right field. The best options I have right now are like Connor Scott is in Double-A, Matt Gorski's in Triple-A, Carter Smith-Najiba is in Triple-A. Those guys are fringy possible answers, but just like first base, I think that's going to be one of the positions that we're going to try and focus on long-term to find someone. Pitching, we're actually surprisingly good. We have Mitch Keller coming off of an arbitration year, and he's at a 5.4 mil. His next year, they're anticipating about 10. I'd like to lock him into a long-term contract, but we'll see where that goes. And then other than him, Roansy Contreras is a good prospect we have here. And then we also have, I think he's in my bullpen right now. There's a possibility that Bailey Falter could turn out to be a good starting pitcher. At the pro level, those are really the only guys that I envision long-term for this team. Short-term, in the offseason, they acquired Martin Perez and Marco Gonzalez, and I've actually switched my rotation to a 6-man rotation to give these guys a little bit more reps. And once I see who's kind of the top performers here, I'll switch back down to a 5-man rotation and probably move one of these guys. There's a possibility that Contreras gets called down just to work on his development a little. But otherwise, this is what we're working with. We have about $20 million, I think, in payroll split between Gonzalez and Perez. So I'm really hoping that they pan out at least a little bit. I need all these guys to be at the very least passable going into this season. But long term, this is really our biggest strength. And if I go to player not development, it is minor leagues. If I switch to my minor league starters, this is really where I think the Pirates are in great position. Paul Skenes, Bubba Chandler, Jared Jones, Quinn Priester, Anthony Solometto are all guys that I think have the potential to be middle rotation, if not top rotation guys. Skenes is projected to be an ace. I'm hoping, like, best case scenario, he's a Shohei Ohtani type who's an ace at the top of your rotation and can hit well. He does do that in real life. His hitting isn't nearly as good as Shohei Ohtani, but we'll see if that can develop a little bit. In real life, he does want to try and hit. On the flip side to that, you have Bubba Chandler, Jared Jones, Quinn Priester, Anthony Solometto. None of them stand out as like great arms, but could be middle of the rotation guys. So we'll see. We'll really track their development and see where that goes. Our depth in the bullpen area is pretty lacking, and we'll have to focus on that probably pretty heavily through the draft and free agency as things go on. But going into this year, I'm not super concerned about our bullpen, just on the basis that the Pirates in real life made a couple good moves, and they have some decent guys. Ryan Borucki, Colin Holderman, are guys who can pitch decent innings, and David Bednar is a legitimate pro closer. So that's kind of where we're at organizationally. Like I said, we did a bunch of moves with our personnel off screen, but I basically fired every single person. One person I didn't fire is Calyx Crab, and I mentioned this. I didn't know if it made it into my last video or not. But in terms of what I care about with players, really cool names and nationalities I'm a big fan of. I don't know why. It just I like that. That'll go a long way for me. And Calyx Crab from the Virgin Islands was pretty cool. I liked all of that. But one thing is he doesn't have a great relationship with Paul Skenes, and he is his manager right now. And Paul Skenes is much more important to me than, where's the Altoona Curve? Much more important to me than having a guy with a cool name. So you see that poor relationship. So I'm actually going to fire Calyx Crab right now. I wasn't expecting on doing this, but even though I could just move Paul Skenes is incredibly important to me. He's the most important person in this whole organization. So we need to really develop everything around making sure he is as good of a player as he can be. So I'm going to focus on a good development, and we want to find a manager for the Altoona Curve. Ramon Santiago looks like a pretty good option for that. I wish his teach hitting and teach pitching was a little bit better, but I have a hitting coach and pitching coach to be able to do that. So let's see. I wonder if I can project. So not a good relationship with Skenes either. Let's see if there's anyone else who stands out here. Jefferson Romero. Maybe the problem is Skenes relationship. All right, so Miguel de Castillo is someone who Skenes might like, so we'll offer that contract up to him, and hopefully he accepts that. I think he will. In our first episode, if you didn't see it, we won against the Miami Marlins, and I'm going to simulate the rest of this series. We'll start with our first game against Washington, or at least one of these games against Washington. I'll see which one it's going to be. But let's go ahead and finish today. I've received a personal message. It's from Miguel Castillo. He likes that contract offer. If there's anything else you'd want me to like deep dive in right now and exploring this franchise, let me know. We'll get there video by video. I'm trying to keep each video around 30 minutes. This one will probably run a little bit long, but let's go ahead and, I did not want to play that game. I want to simulate. So let's finish today and see what happened. We'll go look at that box score. I've received a personal message from Drew Toussaint. He thinks that this guy, Edgar Mendoza, is someone worth looking at. I don't really see what he's talking about, so I'm not even going to worry about that. So he did get a big win against Miami. It looks like we beat the crap out of Yuri Perez. 7 earned over 4. That's great. And Barucki actually started over Lauer. Lauer came in late, and I think there's like a setting set up to do that, and I'm not 100% sure what it was, but it worked out for us. Lauer didn't pitch well, but he pitched well enough to get the win because we beat the crap out of Perez. Ladinsky came in to close it out. Nick Gonzalez had a very good game, and if we look at our box score here, he was 2 for 4, hitting in the 9 spot with 1 home run. 3 RBIs there, a lot of RBIs across the board, a lot of hits for everyone. Other home runs for Olivares and Henry Davis, who that's his 2nd home run in 2 games, so that's great. All in all, that's a big plus. Let's simulate our next game. This is against AJ Puck. That was a 1-2 loss in 11. Interesting. Good start for Luis Ortiz. Great look for the whole bullpen. Interesting that we lost on an unearned run. I think that's because it's not an unearned run when there's that runner at second. Puck did very well, which is unsurprising. I think he's a great pitching candidate. I'm really surprised they made him a starter. I don't know if that's actually happening in real life. I thought he was their closer. But, it is what it is here. It looks like we did not do very well hitting only 4 hits through the whole game. You're not going to win a ball game like that. So, oh well, but we still got the lead on the series, and it's going to be Taylor Rogers in our next game. And got absolutely exploded here. And that's Martin Perez, one of those guys that we just need him to pitch okay, and 6 over 3 and 2 is not okay. Taylor Rogers did very well. Or sorry, Trevor Rogers. Is there a Taylor Rogers? I don't know. Messed that up. Brian De La Cruz, the player of the game. Anyone? O'Neal Cruz did well. Grandal, Gonzalez. 10 hits. So I think, when you give up 12 runs, you're probably not going to win 6 in the second. That's very bad, but it is what it is. Let's let's see which pitcher we would like to see more. So Martin Perez, we did a deep scout on him, and he was the guy who just pitched, right? Was it Perez or was it Gonzalez? Yeah, it was Perez. I wanted to get a little bit more information on Perez and Gonzalez. Our scouting report on him, if you go here. One thing I like about this is you can see your long-term scouting reports on each guy. It'll go over time. So here you can see nothing really has changed on our opinion of him. He's a sinker ball pitcher. Apparently that was not good in that game. You can see he's got 6 pitches, but none of them are particularly good. He's a guy that if we're doing poorly, we'll hopefully be able to move for anything at the trade deadline. I'm not really beholden to him or Gonzalez in any way. And our next pitcher, I think, is going to be Contreras, and I would like to see him go, but I just want to confirm that. Yeah. So let's play this game against Washington, and we'll see. I think Washington's going to look... Oh, we actually look better than Washington. I guess that's not surprising. Washington fell off a cliff really bad. I think they were the worst team last year, right? I'm not 100% sure, but I have to double check on that. But we're better in almost every single spot here, which I like. So I guess on paper we should be winning this game, but let's go ahead and play it out and see what happens. And if you like watching these games, let me know. If not, I can simulate more, but I think they're fun to watch. So here we go. I hate this opening camera thing. I explained that in my first video, but whatever. I wonder if you guys know a way to disable that, please let me know, because that's super annoying to me. And leadoff walk. Good start to the game. Let's see here. Sorry, just tinkering with some controls a little bit there. Andrew McCutcheon. That's a grounder right up the middle. That's probably a double play. No, it is not. So one thing I said in the last video that I noticed a little bit, I think the simulation's a little bit smoother and realistic in this game compared to 24. Ooh, is that a home run? No, that is not a home run. Man, my depth perception's terrible there. That wasn't even close. The ball seems to move a little bit more realistic. It moved either like really fast or really slow in 24. It still has a couple of, that's a home run right there. Woo-hoo. Holy moly. Was that McCutcheon? Oh no, that's O'Neal Cruz. There you go. O'Neal Cruz. First at bat, every game I play is a home run. That's great. Love that. Second here. Hot swap the battery in my headphones. So I can actually hear what's going on in this game. Hopefully that was super loud and annoying. All right, so Sawinski's up. That's going to be just a little blooper into right field. That is an out. And so we get 2 to lead off the game. I like that. Always like playing from ahead. Hopefully we can keep that going. All right, here comes Contreras at the mound. And that is going to be out number 1. Here we go. Contreras. That is a strikeout. There you go. And Lane Thomas. Grounder. So 1, 2, 3 for Contreras. I like that. Hopefully he will continue that on average as the season goes. One thing I didn't mention when I was talking about my pitchers too is I have JT Brubaker and Johan Oviedo on the IL. Brubaker might come back by like late May. Oviedo's out for the whole year, but both those guys are also guys that I think could be everyday pitchers in that rotation. So just a note, we are deep in pitching prospects. We just need at least 3 or 4 guys to emerge, and then I can string together a 5th starter as things goes on. Was that going to be off the wall? That is a great double, possibly even a triple. That should bring in 2 for Nick Gonzalez. And he's been hitting well so far, first 5 games of the season. All right, so man at second with 1 out. That's going to fall in. That's a little Texas leaguer, and that should be an RBI single. At least, maybe a double. Hits all the way into the corner. And yeah, there you go. Double for Olivares, who's been looking good for us at right field, which I like. Like that a lot. See if he can keep that up for 162. McCutcheon hits it over to third. That'll be a ground out. No need to test him. And here comes Brian Reynolds. Man in scoring position, 2 outs. And he strikes out. Not great, but not bad. We're up 5-0 after 2, which is exactly the kind of position you would love to be in. And Contreras is looking good. That's his 2nd strikeout of the game. Has not given up a hit yet. And I say that right as he gives up a hit. Of course. Of course. If you don't believe in superstitions, become a baseball fan. You will be leaving superstitions real quickly. All right, there's a fly out to center. One advanced the runner, so still no one in scoring position yet in this game. And hopefully he strikes out Stone Garrett here. That is not a strikeout, but that is a fly out. That was very dramatic for what looked like a hit right to Olivares, but I like the dramatization. That's fine. All right, O'Neal Cruz had a 2-run homer in his first at bat, and he's another kind of true 3 outcomes guy like Sawinski. A little bit better contact, but home run or walks and home runs is going to be his bread and butter. That is a fly out to left, and will Adon be able to get through an inning without giving up a run? Well, maybe. Brian Hayes get into first with 2 outs. I might get a little spicy and steal here, even though I'm up a bunch. I just want to keep the pressure on them as much as possible. So let's try and see what happens here. And it looks like he is in. Wild throw. And Brian Hayes is going to move to third, so I love that. Excellent. And I know now that maybe we can test Ruiz's arm right there. Davis walks. Jake Lamb up, and a new pitcher has come in. So we've already spelled Adon. And Lamb looks striking out. But we've spelled their starter, which is great. Let's keep this pressure on here. Contreras. Hopefully he gets through this inning quickly, but not a good start. Lead off. I might be a double. No, it's a single. Okay. Nick Senzel. Former top prospect in this league, but he has kind of fallen off a cliff. There's now CJ Abrams. Fly out to center field, I believe. Swinsky makes easy work of that. And Jesse Winkler. Ooh. It's going to be close. I think that's a ground out, and it looks like it. All right, so through 3. Still no earned. Nick Gonzalez. Gets out, I'll probably just sim the inning, but no, he got on board. There you go. Leadoff single. I might want to try and steal again. I'll do it. See what Ruiz's arms look like. I'm going to take this pitch and see if they pitch out. So that was a ball. So let's try and steal again. Check swing. Nothing doing. All right, so 4-pitch walk, looks like. Didn't even have to steal. Here comes McCutcheon. The big vet. That is not going to go far enough. Interesting play. I like that switch camera angle. I don't think that was in 24, but if I'm wrong about that, please correct me. Did advance the runner, though. Brian Reynolds up with a man at third. Sack fly should be enough to do it. Instead, he takes the walk. Loads up the bases for O'Neill Cruz Jr. Or sorry, not O'Neill. Is it O'Neill Cruz Jr.? I think I just included a junior out of nowhere right there. Another walk. Walked in an RBI. Jack Sawinski. That's a strikeout. All right, Key Brian Hayes. Bases loaded, baby. Grand slam? No. Not today. But we did walk in a run. 6-0 now. Keeping the pressure high. Want to make this as easy as possible for Contreras. That's going to be close. Sawinski, I think he got it. And he does hold on to it. There you go. What a play. I have several guys. I think Sawinski has Gold Glove potential out there. Obviously, Brian Hayes is a Gold Glove caliber guy. Brian Reynolds, not necessarily Gold Glove, but a plus outfielder. Tamar Johnson, I think, has some decent fielding potential. So I like our defense, which I think is an underrated element of baseball, especially if you have ground ball pitchers. So I think Contreras is more of a strikeout hitter. He's got a killer slider. It's almost like a slurve. Chapman had that slider that like just flew across the side of the place. His drops. Not quite a curveball, but if you get a chance to see it, watch it. All right, so just chugging along here. Nothing really exciting. We had a big ol' exciting start to the game, and now it's just batter after batter. Contreras looks great, though. This is exactly the kind of performance you would hope to get out of him to start the year. Another strikeout. How many strikeouts is that for him? Let's go check our box score. 5 strikeouts in 5 innings for Contreras. That is beautiful. Derek Law, not to be confused with Derek Lowe, coming to the mound. That'd be crazy if they got Derek Lowe out here. He is available for your team in Super Mega Baseball 4 if you are interested, though. He is on my team in that franchise. The little Texas leaguer out to left field. And Brian Reynolds now. Let's see if he can get things going. He's had a bad day so far today. He did get that walk. And that did not fall in. So he continues his tough day. O'Neill Cruz, that falls in. And it does advance McCutcheon. Puts men at the corners for Sowinski. And, ooh, that was a balk. That's crazy. That's the first balk I've seen in OTP 25. And OTP 24. I don't think I saw a single balk when I played. Sowinski does get out, but we did plate the run on the balk, which I like. I'm going to just sim until RSIP, and we get through that, which is great. Same thing over here. So they put us down in short order. He's 85 pitches. I'll do one more, see if he gets in trouble or gets through the inning. I know he's getting fatigued. Calm down. I know what I'm doing, but thank you for stopping me. 96 pitches. Let's finish this at bat. Full count. 1 out. And that is a walk, so we'll spell him there. They got a bunch of righties coming in, so let's call in Ladinsky. I'll sit Falter. Hopefully we can get through this relatively unscathed. That looks like an out. Good play by Sowinski. And Alex call. More like Alex get called to the bench. Because you're out. So we got the big string of lefties coming up soon. So I'll get Falter back in the bullpen and we'll sim until RSIP, which didn't happen. We'll have Ladinsky pitch to Senzel here and then pull him. And we got, I think, exactly the outlook we were looking for. That's an out. Bailey Falter comes in. And he got through him. Perfect. One more. Got men at second and third with 2 outs, and our young Henry Davis coming up. And that is not going to... Oh, it did go through. Wow, that is... I know it's a weird simulation and it doesn't look well, but if I was a manager and I saw that in real life, I would kill my second baseman right there. But, what can you do? So 2 come in for Henry Davis there. That's great. 9-0. Things are looking very good for the Pirates right now. Maybe we can win this division. Anything's possible. It's a long season, though. Anyone is a baseball fan out there, it is a long season. All right, Falter, we're just going to simulate out this. So he did get 2 guys on. We have a bunch of righties coming up. I really don't want to pitch Bednar, but everyone's pretty tired. I'll just let him pitch this out. Jeez Louise. Seemed unnecessary. It's like a sliding behind the back catch that was shot right to him. That's the simulation at work there. And there you go. I think he got through it. Team shutout. Only 5 hits allowed through all my pitchers. Yeah, I just had 3 guys going, right? Yeah, so there you go. Shared shutout, 5-star catch in a game. I wonder which one of the catches was the 5-star catch. Sowinski had a couple out there. But great performance for Contreras, 7 through 6 in a third. O'Neill Cruz is the player of the game, 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs, and that all came, I think, off of that. Or no, 2 of those RBIs came off of that home run early in the game. So a great start there. Let's simulate through the rest of the series, and then I'll end the video here. Finish today. All right, so we got Corbin coming up, and I think this is against Gonzalez. Oh, no, they switched to Gore. So Gore versus Gonzalez. Then it'll be Keller versus Corbin. I think we're better against lefties than righties. So that was a loss. Nobody really hit particularly well, except for Reynolds and Olivares. Let's see where we went wrong here. Oh, so they did pitch Keller over Gonzalez. I'm curious why the computer defaulted to that, but I'll look into that. And if I have an answer, I'll let you know. We banged up Gore a little, but not enough. Their bullpen performed better than our bullpen, but really it just came down to starters, and Mitch Keller did bad. Joey Gallo is the player of the game for them, 2 for 3 with a home run, and that was in the bottom of the third, and that was really what ended the game for us. If you look, it just fell off a cliff, and we never got back up. And so our last one, we're going to actually go up against Josiah Gray. And we got the win in that one. And this is that Barucki into Lauer play that we did. Lauer looked very well, gets his second win. Gray looked okay. It was really more of a pitching game than it was a hitting game. All Key Brian Hayes, it looks like a solo home run and then multiple RBIs. 3 for 4, got an RBI on every single one of his hits. Great. McCutcheon, Reynolds, all looking okay. Hayes with the only RBI. So far, I'm not going to finish today. Let's see. We got some scouting reports. I'll look back at these and let you know. The big one here is Skenes. Let's see if anything changed on Skenes here. So development, it looks like some stuff changed here. Mainly batting stuff. So stuff potential dropped from a 65 to a 55, but over here it says, yeah, I gotta figure out more what this means because I haven't spent a lot of time looking at this. But if you look at our scouting over here, doesn't look like a ton has changed. We got the upcoming series against Baltimore. So in our next series, we'll probably play that. And then depending on your guys' feedback, we could play one of the Detroit games, or we'll just sim all of that. Maybe we'll try and get through mid-April by the end of the next series. Hope you guys are enjoying this, and go Bucks.